we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you a special presentation of
Two Nerds, a podcast. Your home for everything movies, music, video games, and everything in between. With your hosts, Buddy the Bruiser, and Dynamite Jarrod Latching.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Two Nerds, a podcast. I am Buddy the Bruiser.
And I'm Dynamite Jarrod. Welcome back this week, guys. Thanks for listening. This is the show Two Nerds, a podcast where we
Discuss a bunch of shit.
say
A bunch of bullshit, quite honestly.
where we make comments that will seen as unsensitive by feminists.
Insensitive?
Insensitive, unsensitive, insensitive.
Well, I have a very interesting thing to tell you that I think is a little insensitive to nerd culture.
Whoa.
I'm sitting here looking at a tweet that was sent to me via my Twitter account, at Buddy Candela, which you can see in the description along with all of our other social media. And this tweet reads, if you are over...
Oh, I quoted this.
You did?
I did, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you are over 15 and like cartoons, you are a loser. Anime, Dragon Ball Z, etc. No excuse. Plus any woman loses any woman loses respect for you. Grow up. And then he goes on after this to say, specifically anime. South Park was funny. Simpsons is shit but popular. Anime is for losers. So Jarrod, as the anime aficionado that you are, what would you say to this gentleman?
Well, I already quote tweeted it and asked him who he was.
Well, he is a light heavyweight kickboxing world champion,
Exactly.
apparently.
Exactly. And I still don't know who the fuck he is. I'd like to know what promotion he's kickboxing for. It's obviously some low rate promotion. He's not famous. As a matter of fact, a woman I can think of right now, off the top of my head, a very famous woman who likes anime, could probably beat his ass. Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there you go. Who the fuck are you, guy? It's Andrew Tate. Okay? I don't know who the fuck you are. And you're insulting me and my peers. And Dragon Ball Z is good. So, yeah. I mean, whatever.
I don't know what else. I just went to his Twitter page right now just to see if he has any other gold. And right off the bat, we see a tweet that says, "Depression isn't real."
I saw that too, because I actually tweeted I creeped his Twitter after that. Yeah.
Depression isn't real. You feel sad, you move on. You will always be depressed if your life is depressing. Change it. And then he says more shit about the anime community. And yeah, that's about it.
That one's a funny meme, actually, that he retweeted. Top 10 anime villains.
Just him stressed out.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So, yeah, I mean, fuck that guy. Whatever. Let me know when he's relevant and, like, in the UFC, maybe. Until then, Goku could kick his ass. So
Goku could kick his ass anyway, man. Yeah, you're telling me Goku...
No, I'm just saying... But that's my response to him, is that Goku could beat your ass. And so could Ronda Rousey, who is a woman who likes anime.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Not much else to say about that.
All of my ex-girlfriends have dated me knowing full well that I'm a huge anime fan and have watched anime with me. So...
See, none of mine have. Well, I took my current girlfriend to see
all of my ex-girlfriends.
Battle of Gods.
Even fucking the one girl that I only dated for like a week, like, watched anime with me, and not even by my like desire to watch anime. Yeah. She like brought it up, like, "Hey, let's watch this anime." Okay, cool.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah,
good stuff. So, as many of you know, we have started.
We are losers, though. I will. Still a loser. Just the woman respect thing is totally inaccurate.
Yeah. But anyway, as many of you know, we have started production on Lost on VHS for the Halloween season. And we were a little I don't know what the word is. We were a little saddened to realize when we had returned to the tape graveyard that someone had took it upon themselves to steal our television, our TVCR. There's nowhere to be. That's why we can't leave any of our rares in the graveyard.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's these grave robbers and pickpocketers out there trying to steal our shit.
And sell it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Horror VHS Collectors Unite.
Yeah. But anyway, this led us to having to find another way to watch our tapes.
Absolutely.
In our graveyard. So we took to Facebook in the marketplace. We checked all around, found a very reputable source up about 45 minutes away from us who had a TVCR. And you could tell by their profile that they were a fairly respected merchant on Facebook. Not the most respected Facebook merchant out there. That goes to...
They're certainly not Matt Izzy.
Yeah, I was going to say, that goes to Izzy Enterprises, #1 Facebook merchant. But anyway, we went up to procure this TV and a stand. And Jarrod, I'll let you take it from there, man. What was inside of this TV when we... Because there was she asked us when we got there, do you guys want the tape that's in there now?
Yeah, and she puts it on, and it's Super Bowl, I'm not sure what number.
I think it was 40.
Super Bowl 40?
I think so.
That long ago? It was Peyton Manning and the Colts versus...
The Saints.
The Saints. And so...
So we were like, yeah, sure, we'll fucking take... I mean, I'm sure there's funny commercials on here. So we're watching the tape, and it's about, I'd say 5 minutes. Oh, you owe everyone a grape soda, my friend.
It's our
notifications from our Twitter account.
From our Batista monkey haircut meme that's just still fucking blowing up. Unbelievable.
But anyway, so this tape had about 6 minutes of football on it, but it was an elaborate ruse.
It was. And I don't think that the lady was aware of what lied ahead on this tape.
I think she was aware of what lied ahead.
Oh, you do?
I think she really needed this tape. Because here's...
Well, if she needed it, why would she give it to us?
Well, this was in 2009, and it is a VHS tape. Clearly, she has transferred this to DVD by now.
Okay.
So she has it. But she had forgotten that it was there, and she was giving it to us. Because it has the football as the distraction to
and then
go.
It just immediately,
I'll let you take it.
It immediately cuts off, and suddenly I'm learning how to
have an orgasm over 40.
Yeah, to bring back my orgasm in my 40s. If I was a female, because I'll still know how to orgasm in my 40s as a man.
Yeah.
But if I ever want to Caitlyn Jenner it, I may well lose my orgasm.
Yeah, you may run into some difficulties, but thankfully, Dr. Oz on this very great, fantastic program
assumes the role of the vagina at one point.
Yes, he says, and of course, I'm the vagina.
Yeah, if you guys follow me on Snapchat, you saw on my story some clips from this fascinating tape. If any of my 40 plus year old female fans need some advice on how to get their orgasm back in their 40s, let us know in the comments below. We know all about it now. We can tell you exactly what to do.
And if your mom's trying to get back in the dating game after all these years, she might need a few tips.
Yeah.
Tell her to hit us up. I actually watched a little more of that tape before you showed up today, and more Twitter account shit blowing up about Batista.
That one's not the Batista one. That one's a meme that I posted on my personal Twitter.
Wow.
I replied to Pat Kennedy on it.
Yeah. But anyway, on this tape, they actually had a gynecologist come on, and they were talking about your Kegel muscles. Well, not ours. We don't have any. But they were talking about doing specific things with weights that you stick in your vagina and squeeze. And it was interesting, man.
Well,
that fascinating stuff.
I watched the hammock exercise.
Yeah, why don't you explain this hammock
I don't really remember what it was all about. It was just basically that the older you get, the closer the hammock gets to your I don't want to say uterus. I don't think it was the uterus. It was like
it starts to close up, basically, right? Is what they were getting at. Because they kept getting people to go on the hammock, and it was like...
It was getting closer to this part of the female anatomy that it was not supposed to be close to. It's like a wall, and like, I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. I just know that when you're in your 20s, it's nice and tight, is what he said. We're really immature. So, anyways.
But anyway, yeah, if... Obviously, the lady that gave this tape... Well, did you have anything else to say about that before I was going to segue as well? Who do you think has the better segue?
I don't know. I feel like we might have the same segue.
Well, I was going to say, like, a lot of these sex tips can be used for your mother, and the person who owned this tape was probably someone's mother. I mean, she was old, and a recent film came out.
She was a mother because the TV belonged to her son.
She did say that. I remember now.
She was a mother. I was going to say, there's one thing that you cannot be without having a vagina.
That is a mother.
And that is a mother.
Yeah.
So...
Speaking of which...
There's a new movie out called Mother that we discussed on the podcast briefly because it had the trailer narrator.
Yeah.
And...
but we have both seen the film.
We've both seen it. I saw it last night.
I saw it about a week ago. We have not discussed it. So...
The only thing that we've discussed is that we've both seen it.
Yeah, we've both seen it. And you saw my tweet when I left the theater. I tweeted it as the credits were rolling, and I said my review was well-made trash. But I didn't let the film sink in. As soon as the credits started rolling, I said that, and then I elaborated on what I meant. Because a lot of people were like, oh, Buddy fucking hates it. But... I elaborated a little after.
And my Letterboxd rating.
I did not look at your Letterboxd rating.
It's up. I mean, I gave it a modest 3 stars.
3 star? I gave it 3.5.
We'll see. You're more generous than I am. This is a movie that I will never see again.
See, I told this to you too because you were asking me about it, but you told me not to give anything away. And I said I would see it again, but it would have to be a significant amount of time from now. Like maybe 5 years from now.
Like 5 years from now, I would still not want to watch it because it's just not high on like entertainment value, those are usually the movies that I like to revisit as entertaining movies because I already know what the movie's about. But if it's not entertaining, then why the fuck am I going to watch it again?
Right.
It's like reading the Bible over and over again, except the Bible's probably more entertaining.
Well, the Bible's this movie.
Kind of. It's like, sort of is. I read up on it a little bit.
But did you make those connections when you were watching it?
I made the connections basically after it was over.
Okay.
I made the connections I made as I was watching it was basically just kind of a shot at Christianity with all the religious like fucking fanatics that end up in the house at the end of the movie. So
see, I made the realization about halfway through when the 2 sons show up, and I was like, okay, I know where you're going with this, but
I didn't even realize the 2 sons until I came home and read about it. And like, actually, I didn't even, because I forgot that Cain and Abel were
a thing.
Were Adam and Eve's sons, I guess. And I didn't even realize that. I read it yesterday and saw, it was like, oh yeah, the sons are Cain and Abel or whatever. I think they're Adam and Eve's kids.
Yes.
They're someone's kids. But, I mean, in the movie, they're definitely Adam and Eve's kids. So I saw the Adam and Eve thing once I read it. I was like, okay.
Oh, spoiler alert, like 3 minutes too late. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a movie that you kind of need to just, if we're going to talk about it, we basically need to talk about everything.
And everyone on the internet's talked about it already, so if you don't know what's going on, it's your own fault, I guess.
Or just go see the movie and then come back to the podcast. So I read the Cain and Abel thing, and I was like, okay. And then today, I just realized, oh yeah, it was Cain and Abel. I just kind of read it, and it just went over my head.
Yeah.
And then I really thought about what Cain and Abel actually was, and what, Cain killed Abel or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, that all fucking happens in the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I liked it. I mean, I enjoyed it. It had me kind of invested through it. The ending kind of put me off, and the ending was the best part when I was watching it, because I had to appreciate Aronofsky's ability to just escalate the situation, because I was like, 2 seconds ago we were here and now we're fucking here, and like it just all happens so quickly that I like started. I don't know if anybody else was with me, but I was in the theater fucking laughing. They're like tearing a baby apart and eating it and shit, and I was like laughing. I was like, how the fuck did we get here? Like, in such a short period of time too. But going back now and really thinking about the first 3/4 of the movie and then the ending, I think that the first 3/4 of the movie were like just weird enough that you were like, okay, something's going on here. But, and you could tell, like you said, about halfway through, you were like, okay, I see what's going on.
Right.
That, like, they kept it still discreet and grounded enough that it was still making for, like, kind of like a compelling narrative that wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, a narrative that you could follow casually and still be like, okay,
like, even if you didn't
something's going on here that, like, I'm invested in. Whereas in the final act, shit just flies off the fucking hinges and just gets too fucking crazy that, like, it really kind of loses any sort of, like, is discreetness a word?
Yeah. Discreetness is a word.
In the final act, it's really just trying to jam this fucking theme down your throat. And I guess maybe if they would have made the movie longer, which
I think it was long enough.
it was definitely long enough. I'm not saying I'm not saying I could stomach another half hour or so of this movie, but if it would have been able to get like built up in a manner as such where it wasn't such a fucking bullet shot to the fucking head there at the end.
Yeah.
That like.
Well, I will say a little after when the whole funeral quote unquote thing is happening and all those people show up. I thought that was a very stressful moment as well with all those people in the house.
Yeah.
So I will say midway through it does pick up, but then it slows down again.
Yeah.
But then the ending is nuts.
It just goes bonkers, and but that's what I mean. The funeral, they built up to that moment.
Yeah.
And when that moment came, it was excellent. And that it all made sense and it all had a good flow to it, and the situation just kind of steadily escalated and to the point, where it got to where it was. And again, it was just weird enough that you were like, okay, I could tell that there's a theme going on right now, that there's some sort of a narrative, some sort of a
deeper meaning
to all this that he's trying to drive home, but at the same time it all still makes sense.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Whereas at the end, it's just such a fucking clusterfuck that none of it makes any sense. Which I'm sure maybe Aronofsky was...
It had some meaning to him.
Totally.
But
I'm sure he totally meant it to be like that, which is cool. But for my preference, if that would have escalated the same way that the first gathering of people escalated, then, sure, cool. It probably would have been more enjoyable for me.
Yeah. I guess for those of you that haven't read up on the mythology, we'll just kind of go through it briefly because there's a million lists and everything that do it. But if you guys want to hear it from us, basically.
I mean, Jennifer Lawrence is like online in like every interview she's doing. Just basically like, this is exactly what the movie's about.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. She's like, some of the stuff is kind of open for interpretation, but for the most part, this is like.
This is what it is.
This is exactly what it is.
So basically, God shows up at the house of the husband and wife, who is Mother Earth and God. And the guy shows up. He's our version of Adam. They talk. God invites him into the house.
As God does to everyone.
As God does to everyone.
Welcomes everyone into his home.
Yes. And stay as long as you want. And then they're up the first night, and the dude's throwing up, and he's got this weird scar on his side. And then the next morning, the wife shows up. So in the Bible, it's Eve was made from Adam's rib. So that's why he had that weird scar and was like all sick. And then the next...
I actually did not know that, but...
Yeah. Well, that's what
I mean, I just haven't
Catholic
done...
school will do to you, man.
Yeah,
I make these connect. I think that might have been why I made the connection earlier than most people watching it. Well, I'm sure a lot of people realized it right at the beginning, but I feel as if being raised Catholic, I made the connections easier than someone who wouldn't. Yeah, wife shows up unexplained, and the wife's like, "Did you know that?" And he's like, "Yeah."
By the way, Mother Earth this whole time is like, I don't know about this. You know what I mean? Like, which is another thing that's cool about the first act of this movie is that, like, it really plays out as if kind of like, you know, anyone would have that reaction. You... like, say me and you were married.
Okay.
And these strangers
it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
It's what I've always wanted.
And a stranger just shows up to the door, and you're suddenly, or I'm suddenly just like, oh
fuck?
yeah, come stay the night. You would immediately be like, hold on.
Like, we don't know this guy.
I don't know this fucking guy. Like, what are you doing? Like, like, it's not like he's our long lost son or, you know, like a family friend or anything.
Complete stranger.
We've just met him.
Yeah.
But being God, he accepts everyone into his home, and Mother Earth is kind of like,
nah, I'm not about this.
I don't know. I got a bad feeling about this shit.
So from there, they break into God's office where he has this weird sort of like crystal thing, which is a representation of the forbidden fruit. Like, you're not supposed to touch that. But they're tempted, they touch it, break it, and then God's basically like, get the fuck out. Like when he kicks them out of the Garden of Eden. From there, the kids show up. The older son kills the younger son, which is our Cain and Abel thing. And then that's when the funeral happens after that. And God invites everyone back into his house because that's what God does. He accepts everyone. And
he never kicked him out of the house, by the way. They were still staying. Just they could not go in the office. He kicked them out of the office, and then he boarded the office up.
Well, I thought, the wife was trying to get them out. The wife was like, "You got."
Oh, Mother Earth was definitely trying to get them the fuck out, but they weren't leaving. And then she like talked to God and was kind of like, "Hey, like I'm gonna kick them out," and he's like, "Yeah, right." And she's, you know, kind of like, "What?" And he's like, "Where will they go?" And so, like, that's kind of... And then the sons show up.
Yeah, the sons show up. Then the funeral happens. And I don't know if you picked up on this one as well. And by the way, this was probably the most stressful moment for me because I'm very clean and cleanly in my house, and I don't like people messing with my shit. And it's when they were, like, jumping up and down on the sink and, like, all that bullshit was, like, making me, like, freak out a little bit. Because I was putting myself...
I'm not clean and clean... Like,
but I was putting myself in her shoes, and I was like, if this was my house, like, I'd be having a fucking heart attack.
Well, I mean, especially if you're like building the house, you know what I mean? Like, she was renovating the house and, like, you know, getting it ready for her and God to live in.
Yeah.
And so, like, man, these people come in and they start treating her house like shit. Okay,
not all. There were a couple guys who was like, "Let me paint your walls for you." So like, there are the good people, but then the majority of them are the ones that are fucking shit up.
So there's the people, but even Mother Earth was like, don't fucking paint the walls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, don't do it. You know, she was very, I've got this, like, I can do this myself. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what she did. Every day she was building this house.
Yeah.
The house is a representation of Earth.
Do you remember how the people left the house? And I want to see if you made this connection. Do you remember how
she
they all
kicked
left?
them out.
But why? What happened?
They broke the sink.
And then what came out of the sink?
Water.
What in the Bible has to do with that?
I don't know, fucking holy water?
Holy water? No.
No.
The earth flooded and everyone died. Got out of the house.
Okay.
Noah's Ark and bullshit.
I see.
Which is another Aronofsky film, by the way, that Noah movie. I don't know if you knew he directed that one.
I looked at his filmography.
I've never seen that one, but my girlfriend saw it in theaters, and apparently someone bites the head off a lizard in it, and then she walked out because she's like, I'm not, because she has a pet lizard.
She loves lizards.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not having that. So the flood happens, everyone leaves, and then during this whole time, God has been struggling to write his neck. That's his thing. He was a writer, and the guy who originally showed up was a fan of his work, and he hasn't written anything in years. And he finally
He's a poet.
Yeah, he's a poet.
Yeah.
And he writes his new masterpiece.
Well, he fucks. He fucks Mother Earth.
Yes, he does.
Okay. And then the next day she wakes up, I'm pregnant. That inspires him, and he writes his new masterpiece,
Which is the New Testament
Yeah.
to the Bible. So then from there, that's when all the followers start bombarding the house, and then the whole rest half hour of this movie is a shit show.
Who's the publisher?
I don't know.
Because then
It might be.
isn't the publisher like
might-
having people executed?
Yes.
Later.
It might be representing the church or something. I'm not exactly sure. Because I didn't read... Like, the mythology that I'm talking about is stuff that I realized after the movie, and I was like, okay, this... Because I just read the plot synopsis again.
Oh, wait. Why didn't the baby ever get resurrected?
I don't know.
Like, shouldn't Sunday have rolled around and the baby was...
It just
be
shows up.
What's up? Throwing Easter eggs all over the fucking place and shit.
I don't know, man.
They didn't even give Jesus a chance to speak. They just straight tore his ass apart.
Well, his neck broke first, and then they tore his ass apart.
And then they started eating him.
Yes. Well, that's the body of Christ in church. How you go and, like, they give you the little piece of bread. So that was representative of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
so much shit goes down, and I mean, there's like a fucking, a bunch of fucking,
Like, the SWAT team shows up, and...
police brutality starts going, like, they start beating people, and fucking, there's a whole, like, a riot going on at one point that they have, like, riot shields and stuff, and they're
Yeah.
going at it. There's a war that happens, like... I don't know if it's like a SWAT team member or not, but they make them look like soldiers, and like you
Yeah.
hear bombs dropping and
Yes.
shit like that.
It's going nuts.
Yeah, like things just start going fucking crazy.
And the one part in there, because there was the big feminist backlash with this movie, and it had to do a lot with the Mother Earth character not fighting back for herself. But again, like, that's what, I mean, Earth can't do shit.
First off,
But the main
in
reason...
that particular scene that we're about to get to, I think,
Yes.
how could you fucking fight back? She got fucking, like, she got jumped, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so she got the shit beat out of her. She was called the C word, and everyone was, like, the internet was like, this is a step too far. Which I can see where they're coming from.
I don't think it is. I mean, I think that everyone's these days is just so eager to get offended by something. And like this is like, I mean, love it or hate it, man. This is a pretty powerful piece of movie, I think.
Piece of movie.
I don't want to say piece of cinema because I feel like that's giving it too much credit.
Yeah.
So I'm
There's a difference between a film and a movie, I would say. And I know what you're getting
there's
at.
some pretty powerful shit in here, and when you really kind of unpack and see what it's all about, like it's kind of like shit that, like, I unpacked it, I was like, what it's all about, it's basically like, okay, just fucking, you know, leading to the next apocalypse, basically. And how the people of our planet, we don't even appreciate what we have. We go in there, you know, God invites us into our home, into his home, and we just fucking destroy it. And eventually we destroy it and everything. Mother Earth will fucking will fight back, because she does fight back. Basically, the flood the first time, and then she fucking
burns everyone.
blows the whole house up, basically, because it's like an explosion.
Yeah.
So, and that basically ends the world. But as we know, there's science.
It's
not exactly Christianity, I don't think. Does Christianity the world ends a bunch of times?
I don't know.
I know through science and like evolution shit that the world has ended like 7 fucking times. There's been like 7 Armageddons, and like each time there's like a different fucking thing happened. Mm-hmm. But you know, like we weren't exactly here for all that. The dinosaurs were here for one of them. Mm-hmm. And like I think I went to a museum recently, and like the Earth at first was basically all fucking water, and a bunch of fucking like the first forms of life were just little bacterias on the floor of the ocean, and then something happened that fucking wiped everything out, and then just steadily we got land, and then you know, and then like first were like lizards and shit. Like the first land animals weren't even dinosaurs. They
they crawled out of the ocean. And they were just like these little lizard things.
Yeah, and then eventually, you know, dinosaurs and shit, and more apocalypses and stuff. Volcanoes are erupting and shit, and all kinds of stuff. And you know, the world ended like 7 fucking times, according to this museum I went to. So it's an endless cycle.
It's a cycle.
And the movie illustrates that, because at the beginning,
and
that bitch is already on fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he puts the crystal down, and he's like, yeah. And then the movie ends with she's on fire. But then it reveals where he gets the crystal from, and it's from Mother Earth's heart. And it just runs the whole fucking thing back. And you bet your ass we're probably going to destroy it again.
Oh, yeah.
If it keeps going. So... that's all shit that I kind of already knew, like in the back of my head, that we're basically destroying our own planet.
Well, yeah, everyone should
everyone knows that, and the fact is that nobody cares, and like I kind of already knew that, so I don't know if the film's exactly necessary, but
I don't know who it was there to teach things, because I mean, obviously everyone knows the world is ending because we treat the environment like trash.
But I do love the metaphors, you know, of like the sink and stuff, and just like the destruction of the house is, you know, like whatever. And like Mother Earth will tell you like, hey, don't fucking do that. We do it anyways. And then bad shit happens. I do like those metaphors. I think that, you know, whatever. I got into all this because of the scene where they're basically just beating the fuck out of Mother Earth, Jennifer Lawrence. Mm-hmm. And so it's basically a woman getting battered here.
That's exactly. What do you mean basically? That is what it is.
But I mean, you know, there's other references to that too. You got the one guy that like keeps trying to fuck her.
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, I'm married. He's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, like, I think another dude, like, in the other scene, like, he's just trying to grab her tits and everything and, like, rape her. Then raping the land. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, a lot of people are just so eager to get offended by things when really... we've just spelled it out for you, and the filmmakers have spelled it out online. It's no hidden secret.
No secret.
There is a deeper meaning behind all of it. You know what I mean? They're not just putting a woman getting fucking beat to hell for the sake of putting a woman getting beat to hell. It has a meaning. It's a metaphor. And, I mean, like, if that's too far for you. I mean,
I mean,
hopefully it like kind of opened your eyes a little bit and like made you really think about what we're doing to our planet. Maybe it made you think about that a little bit.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and just defend Mother.
No.
But but the reason why I'm defending this part so with such conviction is because I just fucking hate censorship. And if there's a scene in a movie that drives the narrative forward or has a meaning that to the
It's not there just
to the main
there.
to like the casual eye they would find it offensive or something, like, man, just first off, it's a fucking movie, okay? Like, I'm not the guy that gets offended by like instances of rape or violence or anything going on in movies. Obviously, I'm not that fucking guy. So I mean, like, I don't think anyone should be, because it's a movie. And I mean, let's take it away from this. Even movies where it doesn't have some fucking deep metaphorical meaning. Okay, there's definitely other movies there. I can't think of one right now where women get the shit beat out of them. Can you think of one off the top of your head?
Maybe not get the shit beat out of them, but there's tons of
There's
movies.
definitely movies where women get hit
or rape. Like,
There's definitely
Yes.
rape. There's definitely rape.
the girl with the dragon tattoo, where she is raped a lot, but then she fights back in it. As
Yeah,
well.
I mean,
so it's not.
There's Last House on the Left, where they rape and murder a girl. And I mean, look,
I Spit on Your Grave. The entire movie is rape, essentially.
these movies, they have these things and it drives the narrative purpose forward. It's a story. You know what I mean? Like, we can't sit back and pretend like this stuff doesn't exist and this stuff doesn't happen, because that's part of the problem, is that people don't want to admit that this shit happens and this shit is real. You know what I mean? Like, stories like this are kind of necessary, you know what I mean? Like, because it's real life, man. Like, women get raped, men get raped, people get raped, and this happens.
Yeah,
and taking it out of movies and you know, taking violence out of movies and everything, that's not going to stop violence. It's not going to stop rape. It's all it is you're just watering down your movies so you don't hurt anyone's feelings. And like, that's just stupid. Then that's just suppressing art, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
do you consider this film art?
Yeah. I think that all movies are art, regardless of how good or bad or what my opinion of them is. It's making films as an art form. You should know that. You went to film, like, well, you didn't go to film school, but
I went to school for
film.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't agree
No,
with
I was
that?
asking what your opinion, like, do you see it as art?
Yeah, I see this movie as art. I fucking almost, it's like borderline art house. Like, definitely at the end.
Speaking of which, I've seen a lot of articles that say not only is this the worst movie of the year, but this is the worst movie of the century. And I'm telling you what, man, these critics have never seen an art house film in their life. Because if they did, they would be praising Mother like the fucking holy grail.
Getting praise from critics that don't let their religion, or perhaps lack of religion, doesn't let their religion cloud their judgment, or perhaps they lack a religion. But there are definitely religious critics out there that saw this movie and took it as kind of a shot at Christianity, which kind of, there's some shots in there that weren't too pleased with it.
Right.
I mean, that's at least what Wikipedia said about the reception.
But worst movie of the century.
Absolutely not. And I mean, that's just a typical...
They've never seen Dark Crystal, man.
Oh, man. Dude, Dark Crystal's got some good special effects, man.
What was... not to reveal anything, but they've obviously never seen some of the movies we've watched for Lost on VHS this year.
Of the century.
Yeah.
Do you consider it art?
Yeah, I consider it art.
I mean, do you consider every movie art?
I mean, I don't consider Garbage Pail Kids the movie art, but to a certain extent, a lot of films are art. I don't think the Emoji Movie is art. I think it's commercialized stuff to make kids waste their parents' money.
I think that still, even to an extent, it's still art. I mean, you still had to have a writer, a director, and all these people in like sort of a creative process. And yeah, was its purpose wrong? Just a commercial cash in? Yes. But at the end of the day, they still had to create something. And I mean, they still had to create a product to put in the theaters. And to me, that's art. If it's sucky art, sure. I mean, like, art isn't exactly...
It's not for everyone. Like
art
you
is
have
not...
to start that art that
art
you like.
is not a praise, okay? Like, art... Sometimes people use the word art to praise something. This is art. It's not not praise. Art is a thing, okay? Like, it's something you, like, create, whether it sucks, fucking rules, or is just right there in the middle.
It's all opinion.
It's still art. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, like, how you feel about the art is just your judgment of the art. Just like any picture that you see, like any drawing, like, look,
that is art.
This Zelda poster that we have here is art. Someone painted this and everything. Now,
and photocopied it.
Is it the most creative painting or drawing of something ever? No.
I'm telling you what's art, man. That poster next to it.
This?
That too, but I'm talking about the other side.
Well, this I will use art as praise. Now, this is art. Oh man, we're of course referring
to my poster of Kramer.
Simply entitled Kramer. Oh man.
But anyway, what didn't you like about Mother? Because we've both been saying one thing I didn't like, and I'm sure there's some deeper meaning to it, but I honestly, I guarantee there's a deeper meaning to it, because otherwise they wouldn't have done this. But Jennifer Lawrence is in close-up for, I think, 66 minutes out of the entire movie.
I did notice a lot of close-ups on her, but I did not realize it was that much.
It's a lot. Which I'm assuming the hidden meaning is he's trying to pay attention to Earth when no one else is, or something. But it's just...
You would notice that because you're a filmmaker.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed close-ups of her, but...
There's a lot, like...
Yeah, I definitely noticed it, which speaks to me that, yeah, there was a lot, because I definitely
the typical
picked
movie,
up on it.
The typical
but
movie
66
watcher.
minutes, I did not think it would be anywhere near that.
Yeah. Like, the typical movie audience might not notice shots, but, again, someone who goes and
you disliked that.
I personally, like, I'm sure there's a deeper meaning, but I personally, because when I try to watch movies, I don't want to watch them as a filmmaker. I want to watch them as a viewer, as the way they are intended.
Yeah.
And stuff like that kind of takes you out of it.
Yeah. I don't particularly know if this movie was made for the viewer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was not made for a mainstream viewer.
No,
I will say
that's definitely not, and that's the part of me that doesn't like the movie. Was like the hardcore moviegoer in me, which I don't even know if I could consider myself a hardcore moviegoer. I would like to. I don't know if I can, because I don't go see enough movies.
We don't have the funds for these things, or the time.
So, just so you guys know, the Kickstarter or GoFundMe for
Bad Mom's Christmas.
For Bad Mom's Christmas is coming soon. So if you want to fund our movie-going experience, you're more than welcome to. And we will review it on the show. And we'll even talk about your opinion of it if you want. I don't care.
We'll talk about your opinions.
Yeah, like for this, we're not going to talk about your opinions because you didn't pay for us to go see it. We don't give a fuck about your opinion. But the typical moviegoer in me, I generally enjoy movies with
entertainment value.
ahead with a lot of entertainment value. All of my top movies, you're not going to find, like, the only one in my top movies, it is in my top 10, I do believe, that I can say doesn't have much entertainment value and can't really be watched by a casual moviegoer and really enjoyed, is Eraserhead.
That's in your top 10?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I love that movie.
I love that movie too.
But I mean, I love David Lynch.
Yeah.
So,
well, if anyone who knows anything, you should like David Lynch. I mean,
so, I mean, like...
But yeah, if you're down to watch a movie that's an hour and a half and has 14 minutes of dialogue and it's in black and white and doesn't make a lot of sense, I'd recommend Eraserhead. But if you do like your movies to make a lot of sense, have dialogue throughout, then don't watch it.
Well, I mean, yeah, Eraserhead's not for everybody.
It's not for most people.
But the thing is like, typically, Eraserhead is an experience.
Yeah.
Like, everyone that I've watched that, or have talked to about watching that movie, like, when the movie ends, you have a feeling, like you feel something, like,
and a lot of times
something.
you might not know what that feeling is.
Oh, like, it's definitely, there's some confusion.
It's an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah, like you feel kind of dirty, you know, almost sometimes watching a movie like that. I know that I felt, you know, like you said, like, kind of stressed watching Mother. I wasn't like totally stressed. Like, I was laughing.
Mine is my OCD, and I wouldn't want people in my house.
Yeah, but I mean, that's something that a lot of people can relate to, that's why that metaphor is so good.
Yeah,
but I really enjoy the how good the metaphors are in that movie. Even if I didn't even catch on to all of them, I still probably haven't caught on to all of them, but I mean, I've caught on to more now. Oh God, I'm gonna sneeze.
Wonderful.
Take it out in post.
No, that's staying in, man. That's staying in.
Oh man. Oh God, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Just wipe it all over your legs like you just did.
Oh boy.
You disgusting pile of trash.
I like the metaphors. I'm not exactly a Christian or anything, so they really don't matter that much to me.
Yeah.
But
the environmental stuff you can get behind, I guess.
Yeah, I'm down with that. And I definitely dig kind of this like portrayal of like the Christian faith as these like fucking
monsters, terrible
fucking people, basically.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's basically why I went to see the movie in the first place, is because of all this press that it fucking attacks Christianity.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say about Mother?
It was an okay movie.
I do. If you think it's something you would want to watch, I would say go watch it. The trailers are really misleading, as you can tell.
They are. It is listed on Wikipedia as a psychological horror, which
I wouldn't even call it a horror.
I know
really.
you want it here. We can use this sock. I got a bunch of.
You have a. Oh, so you're just gonna wipe your boogers all over my sock? My little sock with polar bears on it.
That's not boogers, my friend. That's just pure snot.
Damn. Well, you just gotta wash it and dry it so you can fix that up for me.
Yeah, I'll take care of that for you. It's. What were we even saying about it?
The trailer.
I can see it as a psychological horror. There's definitely some.
There's stuff
tense,
that's horrific in it.
There's horrific moments, and there's some tense moments. Where there's like some suspense being built up. A couple jump scares are in it.
Yeah.
I could see it, but it's not your typical horror movie like the trailer makes it out to be. The trailer definitely makes it out to be a typical modern day kind of like horror movie.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what gets the asses in the seats. So that's what matters.
I wonder if Aronofsky approves of that marketing.
I mean,
I would imagine that he probably would approve of it, since it
brings more people.
It's been bringing people in, and it's gotten the movie some hype.
And he said in an interview, he's like, I don't care what people's reaction is as long as they have a reaction.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
That's the right attitude to take, honestly. I mean, like...
It's the same attitude the WWE has, man. As long as... Speaking of WWE, that main event was trash.
You think so?
It was so underwhelming.
I liked it. I liked the main event, but... the crowd was really dead for it, and I think maybe that's why it felt underwhelming.
Well, I think Cena Reigns killed them earlier in the night, probably had something to do. And that, and plus, every time we've seen Braun, he's flipping over ambulances and multiple tables and going apeshit, and this one was a straight-up wrestling match, and I don't think that's what people wanted. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to see something crazy go down. But,
well, I mean, I think that the match was good. Just kind of based on being like a normal wrestling match, I think that the crowd was a little drained at that point and couldn't react the way to give it like that atmosphere and that electricity that a lot of great matches have. So, I mean, whatever. I liked it. The match before was what really was trash.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
But, anyways, we've talked long enough and we have not brought a lot of humor into this episode, so we talked about...
It is our last week of September.
It is. And it's pretty steamy here in this garage.
It actually is. It's like fucking 90 degrees in the middle of September.
That's because it's September, buddy. And it never cools down in September. And so, let's talk about last week before we move on. What happened in the poll last week?
I think I won.
You think so?
I think so.
Maybe you're right. Last time I checked, I was in the lead, but I would not be shocked if you fucking won. I just saw Donald
I know.
Trump
I was looking at your phone. I saw the Donald.
I
had to.
I was taken aback for a second. All right. Yeah, Rob Lowe won. So basically, I'm not going to argue with this too much. What I am going to tell you is that you people, you freaks on Twitter, essentially just voted for child pornography. Good. I mean, how do you look at yourselves in the mirror? I hope to God that one day you realize what you voted for and that you just can't even look at yourself.
But let's not dwell too much in the past. Let's look forward to the future with the last poll of the month, which is highly anticipated with you. I think this was the first theme that we wanted to talk about. Like, let's save it for the end.
It was your idea to save it for the end, so you've been anticipating this as well.
Well, this week we're talking about the best porn parody title.
That's right. Some of the best, most attention-grabbing pornos are parodies of some of our most beloved franchises, movies, anything. And they just have these great titles that really hook you in and make you want to watch the movie. Now, whether or not the movie can match up to the quality of the title...
Usually not the case.
Not the case. But sometimes you get something that really
stands out.
Really stands out. So, with that being said, buddy, I'll open the floor to you. And you can talk about some of your favorite porn parody titles.
Okay. Well, here are just a few. And Jarrod can see the artwork.
Yeah.
For those of you that want to follow along, just pull up Google in the next tab and simply type in the title we are talking about, and you will see some glorious art. As long as your safe search is off on your Google images, you should get some stuff.
It might still pop up with some stuff with it on.
So, starting off strong, we've got American Booty.
That's clearly a play on American Beauty. Now, which movie do you think is better, American Booty or American Beauty?
I think American Beauty is very overrated.
So you think American Booty...
I think it might...
American Booty might take it. Now, this seems like a kind of like a stupid question to ask, because one would normally assume, the movie with more sex in it would be the one that would be the better movie. Not always the case, but perhaps the case in American Booty.
Yeah. How about the Da Vinci load? I want you to imagine Leonardo da Vinci and his load right now.
The Da Vinci Load. Who's this starring? Starring Joey Hart, whoever the fuck.
Joey Hart.
Whoever the fuck that is.
The truth comes out is the tagline for
All
this
right,
one.
and now, what do you think about this one? Do you think Da Vinci Code or Da Vinci Load is the better movie?
I think I'm gonna go with, unless Tom Hanks shows up in this porno, I don't think it's gonna top the Da Vinci Code.
Okay, what about the book? Do you think it's better than the
Have
Da Vinci Code book?
have not read it.
All right, this one sounds great.
Evil Head.
I want to watch this one. I haven't seen this. Evil Head.
I don't know if it'll compare. It might be better than the first Evil Dead, but I don't think it could top Evil Dead 2.
No.
Dawson's Crack.
Is that a gay porno?
I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, we got a guy kind of spreading his ass cheeks here on the front.
Forrest Hump.
Okay.
I mean, that one's pretty.
That one looks cool. I don't. It's not going to be better than Forrest Gump. This was going to be one of mine, so I'll introduce it. Edward Penis Hands. Now this, I've seen this one actually.
Yeah, and how was it?
I couldn't make it all the way through.
So it was not as good as the original.
It's really something that when you're watching it, it kind of like I kind of wanted to throw up a little bit when I was watching
Really?
it. Yeah. The Sex Busters, not a very good title there.
Nah, I'm skipping a couple of these on here that are not very good. Game of Bones.
Okay, that would be Ricky's favorite. Let Ricky know. Game of Bones.
Goodwill Humping. That is
Okay.
another one that's not. I don't think that's very creative. Drill Bill.
Ooh,
We've got
all
this.
right.
We got this. What is it? Like a carpenter kind of guy on the cover?
Oh, what's the tagline here?
There is none.
Okay, no tagline. Do you think that this is a gay porno?
Maybe. No, yeah, because he's drilling Bill.
Oh,
Or he
okay.
could, because
okay.
as we know, Bill is not the one on the cover. It is the wife who's on the cover.
Yeah. All right, how about this one? Horat, where
Very nice.
they don't put the H for horror, so but it still sounds the same, so Horat. Okay,
In Rear Endings Day. I think that one killed me.
oh god. What? Just say that again, because at first I was so shell-shocked by it that I didn't even know what the fuck it was, what it meant for a second.
In Rear-Ended Day. Like Independence.
No, it's rear
In Rear Endings Day.
in rear end and stay.
In the end, we all come together.
In rear end.
Yes.
Okay.
Inspect Her Gadget. Beautiful. Legally Boned.
Okay, one of my favorites.
Have you seen that one?
No.
Raiders of the Lost Arse. And
That's
we've got-
definitely
that
gay.
is definitely a gay
That's
porno.
definitely gay porn.
Missionary Impossible. What's so impossible
man.
about Missionary?
I like that one.
But what's so impossible about it? What can't they figure out? Napoleon Dynamite.
That's not.
Yeah,
that
it's a
good.
porno.
Yeah.
This time everybody gets laid.
Okay, that's a cool tagline though.
Night of the Giving Head. That's a good one.
That's good. I'm surprised that it took so long for them to come out with that.
Okay, now we can see by the cover art what this one is.
Okay.
But I need to scroll down to figure out the title. I need to guess it. This is obviously a Terminator reference. Do you want to guess what the title is before I scroll down to reveal?
I'm gonna take too long. I feel like it's gonna be good though.
Penetrator.
That's not as clever as I thought.
Damn. The Porn Identity.
Okay.
Pulp Friction.
Not that good of a title, honestly.
Quantum Deep.
I don't like that.
San Fernando Jones and the Temple of Poon.
No.
With Ron Jeremy.
I got one with Ron Jeremy coming up later.
Yeah, well, you can throw out a couple of yours.
I mean,
while we're waiting.
we'll go through this list here. Install your air conditioner today.
Saturday Night Beaver.
Okay, that was all right.
Shaving Ryan's privates.
Okay, I've heard of this one before. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
There's also one that...
I think they reference it in Family Guy.
Here's one, I don't think it's on this list, but I remember hearing about it in elementary school, ironically. I don't know if it's a real porno or not, or if my friend was just fucking around, but it's called E.T. the Extra Testicle. I don't know if that's real.
I think I've heard of that,
I don't know if it's
too.
real or not.
I feel like it is, because I feel like scrolling through porn sites, I've seen like actual videos of E.T. fucking things.
Well, I've seen videos of E.T. fucking things because me and one of my friends from college used to pull up E.T. porn and leave it on Ricky's computer so he would freak out later.
Oh, good. Here's a cool one. Twin Cheeks. I'm going to have to check that one out.
Yeah. Buffy the Vampire Layer.
I've heard of that.
Christy Mist goes down for the count. I'm sure she does. The Texas Vibrator Massacre.
No! God damn it! The Texas Vibrator Massacre.
Damn.
Holy shit. Oh, my
here
God.
it is.
The greatest of all time. And I own this one, and I was going to bring it up later with the ones that I own. White Men Can't Hump. Amazing basketball sequence in this. Amazing
I have a feeling that if we do not do this on Lost on VHS, we're just going to have to do a full commentary track for this film.
Yeah. Yeah. We should pull it out here and watch it in the studio after we're done podcasting.
The Whores Have Eyes. That one's pretty basic.
I have one that's a better
there's Hoary
porn parody of
There's
that.
Harry Potter. I've also heard of Harry Twatter.
Okay,
which is better.
this one's definitely gay.
Yeah. This dude
And
appears...
the Sorcerer's Balls.
It should be the Sorcerer's Bone. This is the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah, that would have been way better. It's in 3D, by the way.
I'm sure it is.
The Womb Raider? Wow, that just doesn't even sound sexy. Accurate, but not sexy.
And that's all I got for now. So let's hear some of yours.
All right, so since the Whores Have Eyes was up, I actually own one, but it's recorded, not it's not an official release, but I have it. The Hills Have Thighs.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
I like that. Erectnophobia,
Okay.
which is another one that I own. I also own Taylor Wayne's World, which I don't. I mean, that's not that great of a title, but whatever. So we already did Edward Penis Hands. There's Beaver and Buttface.
Okay.
Which pull up the cover of Beaver and Buttface real fast so you can just get an idea of kind of what we're dealing with here when you watch Beaver and Buttface. I'm encouraging everyone at home to do this as well.
Wow. That's
about all you can say. Wow.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah, Dan Kinham has that.
I'm sure he does.
We haven't watched it yet. We're gonna have to watch that.
This is a little disturbing.
Oh my God.
Oh my! I'm just scroll through Google Images at some of these pictures, man.
Yeah, this is
some quality stuff.
I'm sure the movie's fantastic. I don't know if it's going to surpass Beavis and Butthead.
Their actual movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Even if you don't like the show, I would say it's a good movie.
Okay, so we saw Ron Jeremy earlier. Here's one of his earlier works that I have seen. Super Hornio Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Has to be expected.
It's fucking terrible, and I was expecting so much for it. There's no lavish Mushroom Kingdom backdrops. Like, most of the backdrops are just pure black, and they just have sex. Koopa's in it. He has sex with Peach, I think, at one point. Yeah.
One that we should mention, if any of you guys have seen Zack and Miri Make a Porno, they do their own porn parody in that movie of Star Whores, and they basically come up with titles for each of the movies. The only one I remember off the top of my head is like Episode 3, Revenge of the Shit, the all-anal final chapter. That would if that actually existed, that would be a good pick. But
Zack and Miri Make a Porno was That's an underrated movie. That movie was pretty funny when I saw
Yeah,
it.
I enjoy it. It's not my favorite Kevin Smith film.
No, but
probably
it was
my
funny.
probably my favorite Kevin Smith film that isn't part of his universe with Silent Bob and all
Jay
that.
and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
One that I've seen a long time ago. Probably one of the first porn parody titles that I've ever seen was Playmate of the Apes.
Oh my god.
This is a real thing. Why don't you take a look here and see what you're dealing with? You encouraging the listeners at home as well to take a look here at Playmate of the Apes. Buddy's gonna take a look, and
Wow.
as you can see, they're not messing around. There is
Surprisingly, that ape looks better than the ape in the actual movie. In the first one.
oh man,
Lord of the G-Strings.
oh I've seen that too actually. Wow, I forgot about that.
The Spider Babe.
These are all things that used to air on like HBO late night porn when I was in like junior high. So like, yeah, I've definitely seen these. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go for go for one more search here.
I see a Full House one. out
Buddy
the top.
just spelled parody Parady.
I know, I spelled it wrong. See, this is Harry Twatter.
Yeah, Harry Twatter.
Oh, there's a Seinfeld. It's not a creative title.
Yeah, I've seen a couple like these too. I've seen one, like that one was just called Seinfeld, a porn parody, and that's like
this one's Twilight the Porno. There's a Scooby Doo.
yeah,
porno.
that's a popular thing to do now. Is that they've stopped coming up with clever titles,
And
and
they
they
just
just say the porn parody. And like I've watched Dallas Buyers Club, the porn parody, and I've watched Halloween, the porn parody.
Have you seen Fap to the Future?
No,
No. Jersey Shore.
a porn parody.
Why isn't it
yeah.
just called Jersey Whore? Like, that one's so easy.
Yeah, that's you could have easily come up with a
Zorro XXX.
she-male.
She-male Akin Idol. She-males. my friend.
Let's go. Let's move on. Was that Conker from Conker's Bad Fur?
No, that's from the Full House parody porn.
Okay.
Because that's his whatever. If you know what I'm talking about from
All
Full
right,
House.
we can't just keep scrolling through here. So,
Rhonda Arouse Me. That's the last
okay,
one
that's
I'll
great.
say.
That's fantastic. What a way to go out. What is your pick?
What is your pick?
What is your pick? I'm going to counter yours.
You're gonna counter mine.
Yeah.
Well, if you say white, can we exclude White Man Can't Hump? Because we've talked about that enough, and we need some fresh.
If you want to exclude that one, sure. I'm not even sure if I was going to go with that, so.
I think I might have to go with The Night of the Giving Head.
Night of the Giving Head. All right. That's a tough one. That was a good one. I'm probably going to stick with what did I say right before Playmate of the Apes?
I don't remember.
Man,
Beavis and
Beaver
Butthead.
and Buttface. The title's not that clever, so I can't go with that. But man, Playmate of the Apes is really good. Night of the Giving Head, God. This is tough, people. I can tie this month, I think, right? Or am I losing either way?
I think you're losing either way.
You've won 3 polls this month?
Didn't we tie one? I think we might have tied. We'll have to check our archives. But
I lost B Movie, which was absolute bullshit.
you lost B Movie. You lost last week.
But I won the first one.
Yes. And then one of them may have been a tie. I can't recall. But we will check the archives.
Has there been 5 polls this week?
Yeah, there were
This
5.
month?
There were 5 weekends this month.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to go with. I'm just gonna go with Playmate of the Apes.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with what brought me to the dance here.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go head to head, dickhead to dickhead. on this one, in case you guys didn't know what I was
And we're
getting
going to be
at
going dickhead to dickhead
And
a
by
lot
the-
more next month.
And by the way, I think I remember last year when we were talking about our dicks on shirts. I think I remember the discussion. We were talking about the flap on underpants and if it is necessary or not.
There's a bee in here.
There is a bee in here.
All right. Well, before we get stung, I just want to say thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do.
It helps us out a lot.
Yeah, thank you for listening to this. This has probably been one of our
Longer episodes.
longer and more drawn out episodes. But thanks for sticking through and listening to the whole thing. Let us know what you guys thought about Mother. We do care about your opinions.
We do.
And let us know what you think. This is the important one. What your favorite porn parody title is. That's very important. We want to know what your favorite porn parody title is. Leave it in the comments below. And yeah, man, that's all I have to say.
Yeah,
Follow us on Twitter.
We've gone on long enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're going to wrap up this podcast and ride off into the sunset.
Okay.
As Stone Cold
I'm
would
gonna
say.
eat some salsa.
Yeah.
That's what I've been waiting for this whole time. This podcast went on too long. Dynamite Jarrod signing off.
And Buddy the Bruiser signing off. We'll see you next week.